When does the fantasy start?
The next day in the Sightless Woods is as, if not more, disorientating than the last. The darkness grows deeper with every step, and your progress feels harder somehow. Soon you've lost too much light to continue, and to your surprise, it seems like it might be time to camp once more. Everyone needs to make me a con check.
Con luck save.
Nope, a con check.
How long does it feel like it's been since we entered the forest?
Make a con check.
That's a fail.
I've got a natural 1.
I rolled an 18, which is a fail.
I rolled a 7, which is a great
I
success.
rolled a 15, which is a fail.
So, Bex and Elias and Pierre as well, actually.
Bex
you
and
all-
Elias.
Oh my god, sorry. Nyla.
What
Nyla.
about Mad Dog?
What about
he
Mad
ain't- he
Dog?
ain't-
Mark's asking the
he
right
ain't-
questions.
So, Nyla, Pierre, Elias, and Mad Dog as well, actually, are all. You definitely feel like you've been going for the right amount of time. You're quite sleepy. Actually, you definitely think that you would appreciate a rest, to be honest, and it would be nice to kind of set up camp and have a sleep because you're feeling a bit tired. Grandel and Gary, however, you both think that you probably haven't been walking for an entire day. Like you, obviously, you're never going to turn down sleep because you probably could sleep, but you just don't think that actually it's been as long as everyone thinks it might have been. But it's hard to tell. That's kind of just your internal body clock, trying to keep time without the light to go as a fighting against the what seems to be setting sun. That's kind of what you feel.
How hard going is the woods? Is it like, are we on like a path? Are we roughing it? Or what are we doing?
It's a path. There's a path through the woods. It's not a very clear path. It's not like a super clean path. It's like overgrown by trees slightly on the sides. There are some bits where the cart is going a bit bumpy because it's kind of going over bigger roots. There are moments where your horses have to walk a bit slower because it's to find their footing and stuff. But it's not like you're going through a forest. It is like a pathway. It's not like a particularly well kept pathway for obvious reasons.
How's Bear doing?
Bear's all right. He seems a bit. I mean, he's a cat. He seems sleepy.
He's always happy for a
That's no
sleep.
unusual. He does seem a little bit on edge.
He's now my spooky barometer. Seems to be his job.
Barometer.
Spooky
He's floating in the air.
barometer.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna reassure him with a scritch and yawn. Probably. Oh, guys, it's so sleepy. Maybe we should camp or something.
It's not been that long, really. What, like a few hours?
We should definitely travel a bit further, or we're never going to get anywhere.
Maybe I'll well, if you guys want to carry on, I can have a nap back here. Seems nice.
It definitely seems like it's time to rest, I'd say.
It really hasn't, though. I mean, I don't know how long it's been exactly, but it hasn't been that long.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to rest, then
Look, it's just, I'd rather spend as little time as possible in the cursed forest as I can.
Well, yes,
No.
but the light is growing dark. It will be much more difficult to continue on with the. Oh, excuse me. With what was this? Oh, yes, with the growing dark, it's going to be much more difficult to continue.
Look, if I'm outvoted, that's fine. But 2 words: owlbears.
I've never seen an owlbear before.
You don't want to.
We also don't want to come across an owlbear when we're, a bit sleepy.
Sleepy. Yeah.
It's a good point. All right, well, I can take first watch if you lot want to get some rest.
Thanks, Gary. I'll just put my bedroll out and fall asleep.
Cool. Yeah. You get to sleep. Everybody falls asleep quite happily. Gary, you can do the first watch. I suppose Grandel will probably take the second one, seeing as he's also awake at the moment. And yeah, the watches are completely uneventful. The guys that were sleepy, they wake fine. There's nothing like unusual or untoward going on. They just it felt like it come to the end of the day for them. And the watches passed uneventfully. You all kind of get up. It's a little bit lighter at the moment, so it's feels like it's early morning maybe, and I think it's time to kind of get up and move on and make some headway for the day.
Do we feel more refreshed, Jack?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you feel like it was a good sleep.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Well,
Crushed it.
let's get on.
Cool. Carrying on the path, it does kind of feel. Excuse me. Carrying on the path, it does feel like you're making good progress. You're moving as quickly as you can, given the conditions of the road. And as it starts to get darker again, you all do kind of think, oh, actually, maybe we can go a little bit on into the night. We had a really good rest last night. Maybe we just push on despite maybe starting to feel a bit sleepy and make some extra headway. As you do that, Nyla, you notice some soft flickering light in the canopy of the trees.
Okay. Can I glean what might be causing it?
Yeah. So give me a perception.
Perception? That's my bag. Watch me fail spectacularly. Oh no, it's a 5. Great success.
Yeah, you look up and looking through the canopy of the trees, you see what looks to be like almost like fireflies, glowworm type things, just flittering about in the canopy of the trees.
Okay.
And as you look at them and you kind of focus on them a little bit, you start to hear this kind of soft hum, kind of like the buzzing of wings almost. But it's a really relaxing tone. Just like really like you're just like, oh, that's a really nice sound, and the lights flickering through the trees, across the branches and stuff. Just a really nice, like relaxing sight.
Okay. I feel calm.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. I might just point at them and chat to Gary and say, "Hey Gary, look. There's stars in this forest."
Oh, that's well pretty. Can I make a wilderness lore check?
You absolutely can.
Recently discovered I get advantage on those. Even though my intelligence is 5.
Is that because you're a Scorn or because you're a barbarian?
It's because I'm a barbarian.
Oh, lovely.
Teach me to read the book.
A barbarian.
Okay, one was a 2 and one was a natural 20. So I'm going to take the 2.
I would,
Are you sure?
In this instance,
Which
I would go with the
is
2.
a great success.
Nice.
Oh, look at you, sir.
Look at me.
So this is actually quite interesting. You have never actually seen these before, but you've heard a story from a traveller that came through Final Rest one summer. He's said that in some of the bigger forests in the world, you get songflies. And
Okay.
these songflies, they're like fireflies. They kind of glow softly, and if you stare at them, for long enough, you don't just see them. You can also kind of tune into the song that they carry. The other term for them is siren flies, but song flies is less. What's the word?
Terrifying?
Yeah.
Ominous.
Oh, yeah,
Ominous.
ominous is the word. Less ominous.
Nice.
So songflies is kind of the more common one, but you also know that they're actually technically called siren flies.
I relay all this to Nyla and bask in the amazed look on her face that I knew a thing.
Have I heard of them, Jack? Siren
Um,
flies.
Once he refers to them as siren flies, you have heard of them, but they're like stupid rare. You don't get them in the Elven Forest.
I instantly take out my notebook and start scribbling, and I want to try really hard to see if I can tune into their song.
Cool. Just the two of you. You're going to point them out to anybody else in the party?
As soon as I know there's something that's rare, I'm just like trying to study it.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't say I'd probably just look and appreciate.
Cool. So as you kind of look at them, you begin to hear this kind of ethereal dirge playing, almost wafts through the trees. It's obviously sad, and it kind of speaks to your soul. But kind of as gradually as it kind of appeared to you, the lights fade away, and so does the music, and you're left feeling kind of oddly hollow. You can't help but think of your loved ones and the people that you've left behind, and both of you this evening will dream quite vividly of the people that you're missing most.
Sorry I did that to you, Gary.
Yeah, Gary's bottom lip is sort of quivering a little bit.
I wipe a tear from Gary's cheek. A single tear.
I miss my mum.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. I miss my mum too. And I give him a little hug.
But that's the only interesting thing that happens on this day.
I'm sad now, Jack. I miss my real life mum too.
It's just a little kind of taste of the tone of Bex's entire backstory. You carry on through the forest. The next day isn't that interesting. Nothing particularly interesting happens. You sleep well. Your kind of watches are uneventful.
Do we have the same kind of scenario where we all got kind of like tired at different times?
No, not since the first day.
All right, okay.
Can I?
Those of you that did fail the con saves do find yourselves getting, not saves, the con checks, sorry, do find yourselves getting tireder quicker. But not really to any great extent. It's not like quite as big a difference as it was the first time. You want to say something, Gary?
Can I speak to Mad Dog?
You absolutely can.
I'm gonna. When we're having like, I don't know, maybe around the campfire.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Yep.
I'll just kind of like be sat next to him and just kind of like side eyeing him, and then looking forward, and then side eyeing him again.
Yes, Gary.
Like this whole life debt thing.
Yep.
I was just wondering because I've never done it. Like I've never had anything like this happen before. But like, do I have to like do anything? Am I supposed to be doing something like giving you money?
No, that's
Or
the
like-
entire. That's the entire point. The entire point, Gary. The entire point is that I'm following you and helping you and trying to make sure that you're protected for, a
I
bit.
mean, don't get
without
me wrong. I
being paid.
do appreciate it, and I like having you around. You're the
It's
silent
nice of you
type,
to say.
you're the strong
Yes,
silent
I,
type.
Haven't spoken much. It's true.
I mean, I know it can be like a bit intimidating going into like a group of people who've known each other for a while. But like Elias, although he keeps giving you the stink eye, making that character
That's
joke for
just,
you, John.
yep. It's fine. I probably am.
He's a nice bloke, really. You just got to get to know him. And Grandel, he's a funny bugger, but he's really really nice. So I just hope that you can kind of like, get a little bit more comfortable with him. You might be shy, I don't know.
I am a little bit shy, to be honest, Gary, but mostly I just miss my wife.
Oh, what, was she back at the windmill?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, what? I mean, that's a lot to lay on me there, Mad Dog. I mean,
Well,
what are you gonna do about it?
I will see my pledge through to it's finished, as I promised.
All right. Well, I'll let you know when your pledge is through.
Oh, thank you.
But in the meantime, mate, there's no reason we can't have a bit of fun, eh? And I kind of like punch him on the bicep.
He like flexes as you do that,
It's got
just
good,
to like, yeah, to be playful, I suppose.
it's got good tone on those guns there, mate. Well, if you're in need of something, just let me know. Although it's like a life debt or whatever the hell that means, it don't mean that I can't help you as well.
Oh well, thank you. I look forward to becoming a valued member of the group.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe we'll see this owlbear.
Yeah, not quite the type of fun I'm hoping for, but yes, maybe.
Oh, it can be quite fun, I suppose. I've
Have
never
you ever
seen
seen
one
an
before.
owlbear?
I've
'Cause
never
they
seen
are
one before.
absolutely ferocious.
I've been called ferocious myself.
I mean, I can see that.
Elias says I'm ferocious all the time. Don't you, Elias?
Sure.
All right. Well, just get some sleep, and hopefully we won't see one of these owlbears.
Well, yes, you never know, but yes, hopefully not. I'd like the next year or so to pass as uneventfully as possible.
As
If,
owlbear free as possible.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get some sleep, and I suggest you do the same.
All right, mate. And I'll wander off.
Cool, yeah, he'll bed down. The camp is quite quiet that evening. Everyone seems a bit in their thoughts, and again, watch is uneventful. You've been traveling for about 4 days now, you've been traveling for long enough to have gone to sleep 4 times. It's probably a more accurate way of putting it, because you're not entirely sure of whether or not it's actually nighttime when you sleep. There's been really disorientating, obviously, being in the forest. Now, you're pretty sure that the way through the forest should only have taken about 6 days. But to be honest, it feels, Nyla particularly, you feel like you are not 2 days away from the outside of the forest. The trees are still really tightly cloaked together, and you'd expect to have seen at least a little bit of thinning by now.
Can I see any? I still can't see like any of the sky or anything like that. It's
just dark, muddy.
darkness.
I say that actually, but as you kind of head on today, the darkness really, it barely abates long enough for you to make any progress before you're almost forced to make camp by the kind of sheer darkness that is kind of encroaching on you. But you do, as you're kind of looking around for any sign that maybe you're getting to the edge, maybe, or you kind of, something, you see what looks a lot like sunlight just off the path, like into the woods, just a little way, maybe 30-ish foot into the forest. There's just like shining through the trees. There's like light, like it's like you can see like it's like someone's got like a. When you see someone's got a light on in a building or in like a room that's a few corridors away, and you just see the light kind of shining out of the room. It's almost like that, but like in you assume a grove or a clearing or something. There's just light shining out of this area, kind of filtering through the trees. It's only it's quite dim by the time it gets to you, but you can obviously, based on how you've seen light acting in this place, you know that it must be relatively bright light to be able to get to you if it's coming from as far away as you think.
In which case, I'm gonna go, guys, there's some light from over there, and try and point it out to them.
Should we have a look?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's something very bright.
Jack, what time does it feel like it should be right now?
I mean, you think it's probably early evening? Based on, like, your rest cycles, it's about early evening. Maybe, like, 6:30, 7-ish.
Do you reckon, Grandall, you could sneak over there and have a look?
Aye, lad, I could give it a go. Am I able to see at all what direction it's actually coming from?
There's a definite direction you can come from, yeah. You can see, you would be able to go through the trees towards it.
What's the quality of the light, Jack? Is it like mid-afternoon light, or is it just...
It looks like, mid-afternoon, like midday type, like, cloudless sky type sunlight.
Right, okay, I will try and sneak up to it then.
Cool. Be sneaky. Give me sneak.
Okay, that is a 6, which is a great success.
Cool. Yeah. You slip into the darkness of the trees. And guys, you guys pretty much lose him immediately. You can't follow where he's going. You manage to kind of creep through the trees. Your progress is probably quite slow, but you're being really cautious. And you kind of get to the edge of this clearing, and it's almost like a veil is lifted as you kind of get to it. Because this clearing is this big open clearing with the noonday sun beating down into it. It's devoid, well, I say devoid of life in so much as there's no people. But there's insects buzzing. There's a huge stone monolith at the center covered in moss. The sun, as I say, shines down from the sky, and the floor of the kind of clearing is like thick with moss. It's kind of spongy underfoot almost. There's a small pond to one side, to the right as you look at it, of this monolith, and it's fed by a kind of barely trickling stream that comes out of the trees towards the base of the mountain.
Okay, I want to sneak back and report.
Cool. Grandall kind of appears out of the forest.
Okay, so there's no men here, but I found a men here.
Oh my god.
I am a
No,
dwarf.
that's
I know
confused.
stone jokes. There's a big standing stone, I say to everyone's blank faces.
Oh, says
Oh,
Nyla.
Mad Dog got it. That was Mad Dog's reaction.
I fight off all of the tumbleweeds. I go,
I shoo away the crickets.
actually, it might be quite a good idea to refill our walk skins while we get the chance.
Okay, let's go.
Want to come and take a look?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I sort of buried the lead there. It's bright daylight in here.
That's kind of important, Grandall. You should have
Yeah, I
learned
got
that.
really caught up on my amazing men here joke.
I
It
still
happens
don't
to
get
us
it,
all.
says Nyla and walks away.
Men here. Men here. You see, men here.
I put my hand on your shoulder. I put my hand on your shoulder and go, I didn't really get the joke, but I think it was.
Well,
very
you know, I
funny
expect
anyway.
that from you, but I thought Nyla would have got it.
Yeah, I guess we're going over there.
Yeah, let's go.
I turn around and lead them back into the forest, whilst muttering about how any dwarf worth his salt would have absolutely loved that joke.
We're not dwarfs, that's the problem.
Aye, that is the problem.
That joke would have killed in the mines.
Yep, echoing laughter for days.
Remind me never to go to a dwarf stand-up comedy night.
So, yeah, you kind of all move through the forest. You taking Pierre? You taking
Taking Bear, definitely,
Mad
and
Dog
probably
and Bear.
Pierre.
I figure we all stay together as much as possible in this weird, cursed forest.
So yeah, you all kind of break through the well, I say break through. You'll kind of work your way through the forest into this grove, I suppose is the best word for it. And yeah, you kind of are in this beautiful sunshine. I say that the ground is soft underfoot. There's a mountain stream trickling out of the woods, feeding this small pond. It's kind of like, it feels really alive. This grove. There's like, like dandelions. There's like dragonflies on the pond, and it looks like there might be some fish in there. There's like, it's just there's a lot of like life here.
Is there any kind of noticeable difference with, like, the air quality in here?
No, the air's been actually all right in the forest anyway. It's not felt like as the forest that you've been, as the dark bit hasn't been oppressive in it. It's kind of like stale air or anything. It's felt like a forest in every respect, other than
The
it's
darkness.
unnaturally dark all the time. Yeah. But yeah, so the air quality isn't any different. There's there's the breeze the same way there has been in the forest. It's mainly the light and the kind of just sheer amount of life. It's like someone has gone and taken like a caricature of like a woodland grove and has like produced it in real life almost.
Where's the light coming from, Jack? Is it actually coming from like a sun? Or...
Yeah, from the sun. It's midday.
Oh. We were way off, guys.
The sun. Nice.
How far away is the pond and the stream from where we are now?
So the grove is obviously not perfect circle, but it's roughly 60-foot radius. It's a big old grove. The monolith is right at the center. It's huge, probably 10 foot across, 30 foot tall.
Okay. Can I?
And the pond is just to the right of it. It's I say pond. It's quite big, but it's definitely only pond sized. And the stream kind of comes down from the opposite side of the grove as to what you're on.
Okay. I'll put my hand up in like a military hold up.
Did I say
sort of way.
radius? I meant diameter. Sorry, it's not 120 foot across. That's ridiculous. It's a 60-foot diameter.
God, Jack, get your
radius.
maths stuff
Sorry.
right. Come
I
on.
realised. At least I realised.
You're doing
Can I
great,
make a perception check?
You absolutely can.
See if I can
Give me
hear
that
any or see anything suspicious. Well, that's a 19. So
No,
not gonna do it.
How's my tingles,
it
Jack?
seems completely unsuspicious, as Gary would put it. Your tingles.
How's my magic tingles?
You get maybe a vague tingle from the monolith.
The other side of this grove, Jack, is it also then go back into like dark forest?
Yep.
Okay, so it's like a little bubble of light.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like there's no trees in this bit. It is genuinely like the one has cleared the trees away and it's allowing the light to come in.
So the monolith is entirely covered in moss, yeah?
I'm not like completely. There's like bits of stone coming through, but like it is mostly covered in moss. Yeah.
I'd like to walk up to the monolith slowly and just sort of see if there's any like runes or carvings that I can make out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Even where it's covered with moss, you can see there's definitely something on it because the carvings are so deep. Kind of the moss goes into them in some places.
Can I see at all what it says?
Give me Is it like an investigate skill? I can never remember.
You got insight
Detection?
or detection.
Detection. Yeah, give me detection.
That is an 8, which is a normal success.
So, the best way to describe the kind of carving on this thing, on the front side as you look at it from the direction you've come from, is, you know, I don't know whether this is going to be lost on non-English people. Maybe you can help me figure out a better way of describing this. You know the chalk, the white horses?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know the man, one of those.
With
The one with the
the
penis.
erection.
Yeah, without the I knew that's where you were going to go. It's another reason why I
That's what
didn't
he's
want to go
most
here.
known for.
I know.
For
I
all of
know.
our non-UK listeners, if you just Google chalk carving man with erection, it will come up. It's- Just go ahead and I don't care how old you are. Just Google
Yeah.
that.
It's basically a big chalk carving on the side of a big hill.
The Kern Abbas Giant
There
is
you
what it's
go.
actually called.
There are
It's like that.
It actually used to have a much smaller penis, and they made it bigger and bigger over
in
time.
folklore. They think that there's actually a giant buried underneath it.
Me
There
too.
is another culture actually that makes these kind of stone line drawings, but it's the ancient Mayans.
Oh.
Just
So
a
the
little
English
bit more-
ancient
NASCAR.
Mayans.
NASCAR.
How we're linked.
Ever so slightly, ever so slightly more esoteric.
Just Google it, guys. You'll learn something about weird British culture.
I'm just saying for all
So
our
on the
ancient
side of
Mayan
this
listeners,
monolith-
that's all.
Sorry, Jack.
There is it's a very rudimentary carving of, like, it's like a person. It looks like a big carving of a person. Very long arms, very long legs. Kind of a swirl for a face. It's almost like a Stone Age stick man, almost. I suppose is the best way to try and describe it. And it's that's what is on the front face as you look at it. It's
How big is it on the monolith?
it's kind of fills the space.
So it's, 10 feet across and
30 foot tall, yeah. You could, like, put your hand into one of the carving, like, one of the kind of etched bits, if that makes sense.
divots.
Divots.
Divots is the word, yeah, thank you. Give me general law.
Okay, I got a 12, which is a fail.
That was a roller coaster of emotions there. That was such a roller coaster.
You don't think you ever seen anything like this before? It does strike you as odd. This kind of stone, I can tell you this as a dwarf, this kind of stone is not the kind of stone you expect in this area of the world.
It's from Wales.
Yeah. It's from
Always
the
from
real
Wales.
world, Wales.
To our listeners in Oregon, that's a reference to Stonehenge.
We have to expand outside Oregon, guys. We can't have all these strict Oregon references.
We already have the Oregon listeners.
I know we need to expand outside.
Hell, if we can get the entirety of Oregon listening, I'd be happy.
That'd be pretty good.
That would be pretty good.
That's a pretty high head count listening.
Can I check while he's looking at this man on a rock? Can I check the water to see if it's like fresh and
You
if
can.
it's
How are you
clean?
doing that?
I will get some in my hand and I will smell it and then I will just have a tiny sip just to taste it.
Okay. Give me wilderness law.
Bam. That's a 2, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, this is fresh mountain water.
Thanks.
It's like so crisp and clean.
Ooh. I instantly just start get a big handful and start drinking it and so is it nice and cold as well?
Yep. It is
Perfect.
the most refreshing thing you have ever drunk in your entire life.
I just start drinking, just it's so good, and then
I'll fill up the water skins.
yeah, I will do that also.
If I were to kind of use a knife to peel away some of the moss, is there anything that isn't as prominent on the monolith?
Yeah, if you kind of peel away some of the moss, so you see that kind of. So if you whereabouts on that are you going to do it?
Like around the man, because I think if there's going to be any kind of runes
Yeah.
or
Needs a bit of manscaping.
So yeah, kind of on the monolith, almost like it's hard to describe. So you peel away some of the moss, and there are like shallower carvings almost that the moss is hiding, and it's like a trace work of like lines that kind of spiral around each other, and that kind of almost all kind of go out from the man to like around the monolith.
can I trace those round to see if it leads
Yeah.
to anything?
I'll follow him round. As, I was about to say I'm going to have a look at the same time.
Cool. As you kind of follow it round, I imagine you kind of both going in opposite directions around this monolith, and you kind of come round and you look up, and the monolith, as you look up at it, has actually got a hole in it that goes kind of from the top of the monolith, kind of diagonally through it to the center of the back of it. Does that make sense?
It kind of does.
So, where the sun is above it, almost directly above it, there's like a small circle of sunlight pointing at the floor of the not pointing, but like there's like a shaft of sunlight coming through this kind of borehole that comes from the top of the monolith through it and ends like dead center of the back of it. And the light shines through that onto the floor of the forest, and there's like a perfect circle of sunlight like shining on there in the shadow of the monolith.
Does the
Like Indiana Jones.
does the ground
Yes.
which it lands on, does it look in any way disturbed, or is
It has a plant growing out of it.
what is it?
It is an orchid.
I feel that has significance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my eyes just went really wide.
Um,
But I'm
it's-
not seeing this, I'm drinking.
It's pale pink.
What colour was the one inside the snuff box?
If I remember rightly, it was either dark blue or purple.
Okay, so it's a different colour, and Grendel wouldn't know the plant type. So, Nyla,
Yeah?
I'm going to need your expertise with all things flowery. Come and look at this.
Okay. I wander over and see an orchid. I'm gonna take the box out of my bag, Jack, and do like a comparison to see if it's like a similar orchid.
Is it the same one?
The orchid you have pressed in the box, the kind of dried one. It's this deep purple orchid with a central kind of you know how orchids kind of have the curled bits where it's like almost like it curls round and gives it almost like a body, like it shapes it differently.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a body, and then coming off of that are 4 petals, and it does give the impression of being like a butterfly shape, moth shape.
And the one on the floor is the same?
And the one on the floor is a really pale pink, like almost white, but like a pale pink, and it has 2 main petals to each side, which are particularly large. They spread out and they have like I don't know what the right word is, like fluffy edges. It's like, you know, like lots of little strips almost at the edge, giving it the impression of like a feathery touch, almost like feathered edges, if that makes sense. And then the central is a single central petal that that points up into a point, and it kind of looks more like a bird.
Can I look at the monolith and see if it has any? Like, I know you guys have looked at it already and seen the shape. But is there any writing?
There wasn't any writing on the front of it. The tracework lines that Elias was kind of feeding round, following. He obviously got distracted by the light and the orchid, but kind of going back to that, you can see that the lines actually are almost like peeling off of like a big body of text up the back of it that kind of goes. The text almost spirals out around the hole that the sunlight shines through.
Can I read it if I wipe away the moss and stuff?
You can spend some time like moving the moss away if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to.
You spend some time kind of getting rid of the moss, and it takes you maybe 5-10 minutes. But eventually you can see this really amazing, intricate like pattern of words spiraling out from the central point, and it is not in a language you recognise.
I will not even talk to him. I will just like grab Elias' shoulder and like turn him around.
Just grab
and
me by
point
the top of
and
the
say-
head and just spin it.
Yeah, just spin you around like a cartoon and be like, "Can you read this?"
Elias,
Mm-hmm.
can you make me a luck will save, please?
I will.
No.
Is
yuck.
it mind affecting magic?
Yes.
I have advantage. Will, you say?
Yes.
Luck, you say?
I believe I do. Yes, that's what I said.
Okay, then I failed on both of those attempts.
Well, that's rather interesting.
Is
I
it
was
Jack?
expecting you to pass.
My luck's been quite heavily depleted over the last few
It
sessions.
has.
Yeah.
You have been really taking it.
I'm not gonna say.
Phrasing. I know. Phrasing. I know.
Phrasing.
Elias turns back around from looking at the monolith, and he looks at you, Nyla, and he smiles this absolutely beaming grin, which you have never seen him do before.
As I say, have I ever seen him smile
No.
before?
Not and not to
unlikely.
this extent.
There was that one time when
You've never seen anyone smile like this.
it turned out it was wind.
And he looks at you and says, Nylathria, Floengeese. And that's the voice he uses as well. Welcome to my little corner of the forest.
Who are you?
That's a fantastic question. And, as it happens, the right one. My name is not one you would have heard before, I don't expect, which frankly is a crying shame. But I know exactly who you are. Been waiting for you a very long time.
Is he speaking Common or Elven, or can Grandel understand this?
Speaking Elven. Perfect Elven. You can understand it, yeah.
Why me? Why are you waiting for me?
Because you, my dear, are a daughter of the moth.
True.
I am the first butterfly.
Does that mean anything to me, Jack?
Well, you know that the family you're tied to
Is the
were
butterflies,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, yeah. And the fact that he's saying that, like the first would be.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
it
I just
is
wanted to make sure
genuine-
that
that is kind of the way that the elves refer to the ancestors. Like the first member of the family like the first moth, that is what your kind of the founding father of the clan you live in now
Yeah.
is known as.
Okay. In which case, I will drop my head in reverence, and it truly is an honor.
Oh dear. Is it true that the elves have gotten so weak?
I mean, no. We're very strong, I say, and I pull myself up to my full height.
So it seems, cavorting around with humans, he kind of disgustingly looks down at the body he's inhabiting, isn't there, a moment? Dwarves and whatever the hell that
There's
is.
no wrong with dwarves.
So they keep feeling the need to exclaim to everyone they come across.
Because people keep feeling the need to put us down.
I'm just gonna try to
You're
hold my
already
hand
down
up to
there.
Grandel and just be like, Grandel, shush. I'm very sorry. They're helping me on my quest.
Your
I would not be able
quest.
to do it without them.
Oh yes, of course, you're seeking the sun.
Why do you laugh?
Well, I mean, I thought the signs were pretty obvious myself. Haven't you guessed the outcome of that little adventure yet?
I don't want to believe the outcome.
Stick your head in the sand and hope it all blows over. Isn't that just the way of the moth?
What would you rather I do? Just go home?
Go back to the place where you belong? Well, wouldn't that be novel?
This guy sounds like a dick.
I know!
Am I aware of
I'm
this?
getting
Jeff?
angrier.
Oh yeah, you hearing all of this.
Can I resist?
You can try, yeah? Give me a will check.
Is it a will luck again?
No, just a check. It's almost like contested. Is you're like trying to wrest control back from
I
him
got
now?
a 8, which is just a success. Annoyingly, I was hoping for a great.
No, he got a great success, unfortunately. So he kind of does that thing where he like looks like he's has to like put his hand to his head a little bit and like shakes it and just says, "You can have it back when I'm done with it. I don't want to keep it for long." And he turns back to you, Nyla, and says, "You have what you came for. Run along home."
No.
Well,
I'm just gonna be like super defiant.
that's interesting. Do you even know what it is you found?
Not entirely.
Why not do something helpful and tell us? Yeah, that's what I thought.
You know what? Maybe I will. That there, in that box, that is a flower.
We know it's a flower, you pompous elven
Flower.
asshole.
I
I'm
was
just gonna hold my
pausing,
head up to Grandel.
you incident little dwarf, for dramatic effect.
Yeah, I asked you to be helpful, not pompous and overdramatic.
That is a flower of the orchid planted by Califlorassa.
Grandel sort of straightens his back and crosses his arms, looks quite smug, and then says, "Yeah, I don't know who that is."
Do I know who
No,
that is, Jack?
do me general law at advantage.
Okay. That is a 14, just a success.
You're like 90% sure that that is the name of the nymph who is supposedly the person that seeded the forest of the elves?
Okay.
What was that name? Sorry.
Califlorassa. Kaliflorasa. you know what that means?
I was told it was a promise.
Yes. It was. I came here. I held my side of the promise. I planted this orchid. I was supposed to be rewarded with never-ending life and a forest to call my home and a lineage of elves to do my glory for me. But instead, the people of the Moth decided that they preferred a different approach. And as such, they made sure that my ancestors did not know how to find me. And so I am here, alone, fighting back the darkness. I was supposed to be a cure for this place.
Can I help? In some way? To apologize for my people?
There's only one reason why they sent you to find that promise. The orchid at the centre of the Elven Forest must have died. They sent you to find that flower, to retrieve the seeds from within it. If you don't go home, you might not have a forest to go home to.
They would have told me. If it was something so important, they would have told me.
Did they
Surely.
tell you that you had to come back as soon as you'd found it?
I guess.
Because I feel like, as far as they're concerned, that brother of yours, the one that doesn't even exist anymore, as far as they're concerned, I don't think they were expecting you to go find him, were they?
No.
Oh, but what do I know? I'm just a malicious old man stuck in a rock, thousands of miles away from the place I was supposed to call home. For all you know, I could be lying. And then Elias, you're back.
I'm just gonna drop to my knees and hold the orchid in my hand.
Grandel sort of steps up next to her, puts his hand on your shoulder, Nyla, and he says, I see how far you've come to get here, and that's a lot.
Thanks for the effort, bro.
No, that's all he's got.
Yeah.
Elias, when you looked at the monolith, essentially you read that language is the language of magic,
Mhm.
which is the reason why you could read it. And it essentially just says that if you read this into many words, it's essentially a spell that says, if you read this, you give me permission to use you as my mouthpiece.
So it says in Elven, do not read this sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So you've just been essentially body snatched for a bit. That's fun.
It's not fun. I didn't enjoy that.
That's where you're wrong.
From over by the pond where I was kind of watching, I'll just kind of look at Mad Dog and be like, they do this sort of thing all the time.
Oh, Mad Dog has been pretty much just dozing, lying on this really comfy moss next to Pierre for this entire time. They're not even aware this is happening. They are both pretty much fast asleep.
Oh, in that case, I'll walk over. What are you talking about?
To who? To Mad Dog or to us?
To you guys.
All right. Who was that man, Nyla?
The first butterfly.
I'm not quite sure what that is, if I'm honest.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna like put the orchid back in the box and the box back in my bag. He's a founder elf. One of the first to form clans. And he's pretty pissed, it would seem. Basically, there was supposed to be a promise, that's what I was told, between the butterfly and the moth, and I point to myself. Our people, but apparently we didn't keep our end of the bargain. And he's not happy about it.
What sort of promise?
I don't really know the nature of the promise, but those who submitted to it were supposed to be rewarded. I always thought it was something like a marriage, but I'm not 100% sure. But the whole, my people meeting the dwarves, I don't know how this all ties in. I don't know why my people would have given up on the other elves. Not met them. And I don't know what to do about this, because he says he's the only thing holding back the darkness in this forest.
He's not doing a great job of that either.
Well, no, but he is alone.
He doesn't need to be quite so much of a dick about it, quite frankly.
I was about to say the same thing. He was a proper asshole.
Yeah, if you've pissed off some weird ghost, then we should probably get moving.
It's not just this grove. I'd quite like to get out of this forest.
I think that's probably wise. I'm sorry, Elias.
Oh, it's not your fault, Nyla. I'm fine. Do you want this orchid that's on the floor?
I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I don't know what purpose taking it would mean.
I think it would piss him off, which I'm all for.
Yeah, but we're still inside his forest.
Put it this way, if it pisses off the spirit, I'm all for it.
The consequence is that the forest might win. It could get darker in here.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea how bad this place would be without him holding things back. It's pretty bad already.
And we still have to go through it, so maybe we'll leave things, as undisturbed as we can at this point.
I agree. It's really pretty in here, and we don't need to be ruining it.
Sorry, just one little thing. Whilst just stood around talking about this, orchid, Elias, you get tingles from the orchid as well.
Can I have a
really
a
wanna
bit of a
take
look at
it.
it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Give me.
is it special
give
in
me-
any way, or is it just kicking
Is
out?
there
of-
like a nature skill? That's
Wilderness
law, isn't it? Give me. Yeah, give me wilderness law.
It is a 6, which is a great success.
Yeah, this is definitely magical in nature. It is one of those rare herbs which has got like an intrinsic magical property. Usually these are used for like creating like magical potions and things. you could probably, I mean, even, I don't know what the first thing to come to your mind is, but you could probably use this to make a very powerful potion, or even use the actual intrinsic nature of its internal magic to power a spell up in some way. Otherwise, you know for a fact that Master Onik would probably sell you his entire tower to get his hands on this thing.
Can I just make a point? You can
You
pick a
may.
flower without actually killing the plant. You don't have to like uproot the plant.
What I was imagining was that if this flower has, particular intrinsic magical ability, maybe it's going to piss him off, but if it's worthwhile, it might be worth just go for it anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Also,
would I be able to
the other
I-
thing
take
is
the
that I
bit of
reckon
it?
we could take him.
What did you say, Mark? I didn't hear that.
I said the other thing is I reckon we could take him.
Oh, I see. I should have guessed that's what you said.
I mean, we're level 3 now.
Mark's not going to offer anything useful.
It's only Elias's body, right? Like, she gets
Absolutely.
done all the time.
Oh, yeah, he gets knocked out the most, so...
And yes, Elias, to answer your question, you do think you could pick the flower without killing the actual orchid itself?
I think unless you try and do it stealthily, Nyla would stop you.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think she has too much reverence for the ancient elves.
So is it that Bex wants to take it?
No. I've been literally, while you guys have been talking, I've literally sitting here thinking, what would Nyla do? And I think Nyla has so much reverence for her ancestors that she wouldn't take it.
WWND.
Even if they're dicks. It doesn't matter
I was
if they're
thinking that,
dicks.
Can I blow up the monolith?
Yeah, again would say, please don't.
Yeah, we're not going to touch the flower, but that fucking stone, nah, screw it. We can blow that thing to hell. That might not end well for us.
That might be bad.
Yeah, he's made me angry.
Why don't you just pee on it? Just pee on it and get over it and we'll go.
This is mine now.
Yeah. Just cock your leg and pee on it and then we can leave.
No, I'm not going to take the flower. That would be disrespectful to Nyla.
Thank you.
We've had enough ups and downs without me taking the orchid.
This might be the straw
Yeah,
that breaks,
I think so.
breaks the camel's back.
I think so. Yeah, I huff off. And I flip the monolith the bird.
So grown up.
Elias, do me perception as you walk past.
All the flowers flip you the birds.
It's a 4. It's a great success.
There's no carving on the front of the monolith anymore.
Do I still get tingles from it?
Nope.
Jack,
Yes.
I would like to use my dwarven sense to check for objects of value.
Cool. Do that. Give me a percentile.
I think, Nyla, that the magic that was tying that guy to this place has probably subsided now. As you can see, the carvings disappeared.
39, Jack.
I mean, I don't... Sorry, Jack, carry on.
Sorry, I'll just do this first and then you can do that bit. Yeah, there's nothing of, like, monetary value here other than that orchid.
Yeah, I had a feeling that'd be the case.
Yeah. Because you can even tell it's worth something. Like, if the way Elias is looking at it means that it will be worth a shit ton to certain people that you know would buy that shit from you. Go on, Beck, sorry.
Oh, so it's just Elias just said, I think he's got... What did you say, sorry, John?
The magic that was tying him to this place is gone.
I'd still rather just leave it.
Give me perception, Bex. What's your passive, sorry?
Uh,
So what's everyone's passive? I can never remember.
14.
16.
How do we work out passive again?
Just whatever your perception score is.
Just your score.
Ah, then it is a 15.
I'm going
Gary?
to assume that Gary's isn't more than any of those.
Gary's gone. We were doing the talkie, so Gary's Gary's left.
Sorry,
Gary's having-
just
my mic
wandered
was
off.
muted. It's 14.
Cool. Bex, Nyla, you do
We're one and the same. Illusion.
Byler.
Byler. That works. I like that.
I like Nex. That's funny. What was I saying?
My name in weird combinations.
Oh, yeah, passive perception 16. You think that maybe the dark is a little bit on the inside of the grove now?
Oh no. Indicating that he's not holding back anymore. Okay. I will kneel down and I will say in Elvish, thank you for your sacrifice, and I will dig up the flower.
Roots and all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
I mean, that's
You can
it's a 180.
Yeah, I know.
you can probably give me wilderness law first to see whether you can make it so it survives. Hi everyone. First things first, sorry this is late. At least you have it now, I suppose. But anyway, initially when all the first issues arose on Friday, we thought it would take a lot longer to get everything resolved. But as it turns out, we have it all up and running. So hooray! Again, sorry about that, but we'll be back on track again. So today you're going to get the episode that was meant to be up on Friday, as you've already listened to half of it, obviously. And then on the 26th, the next episode, which is the arrival at Bridgeton, will be up, and that's the place that Pierre has told everybody is halfway to the city. So that's quite exciting. Now, on with the chatter. I'm not going to keep it for too long, I promise. There's a couple of things we wanted to say. First off, happy Pride Month to all of the LGBTQ plus listeners we've got, and actually even to all of those of you who aren't in the community but stand by as allies. Pride is really important for us, and I'm sure you've already noticed the rainbows popping up on the page on Facebook and Instagram. If not, go and give us a follow. But yeah, so that will probably continue throughout of June, and actually probably on from that actually as well. It's, you know, we really enjoy it, and I think it makes the page a little bit more colourful, if nothing else. Something else we want to say is that we here at Nancast, we're obviously big fans of escapism. It's the reason why we love gaming, and it's actually what brought us all together to do this podcast. But what we're seeing in the world at the moment, specifically in America at the moment, and we feel like we couldn't not say something. You know, we don't have a big audience necessarily, or, you know, a huge platform to say it from, but we feel like we have to say something. So we want to just say we stand in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and an end to police brutality. We hope you're all safe and in good health. You know, however it is that you're making your voice heard at this time. And Black Lives Matter. But now let's get back to the kind of silly, fun, fantasy thing that we're actually good at. And on that note, I'm actually going to let you get back to the episode. Back again on the 26th of June, as I said. Thank you. Stay safe. Happy Pride.
Yeah, it was a 5.
Cool. So you, from that, you think that probably the best way to transport it is to sacrifice one of your water skins? Because
I will do so.
You'll be able to use it as almost like a portable pot.
I will do so.
You know how you get like the kind of bags that you put the roots in, sort of things. That's kind of the way you're doing that. The moment it is completely out of the soil, the darkness kind of encroaches a bit more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the colour of the orchid changes. Like it bleeds out from the center, and it goes from being a pale pink to being like bright yellow with like red streaks through it.
I shouldn't have done this.
And as quickly as the darkness starts encroaching, it stops in an almost perfect 30-foot radius away from you.
Nice. I'm gonna move around with it and see
Yep,
if the darkness
exactly what you're
recedes.
expecting.
Perfect. I've got a magic flower, guys.
For the benefit of our listeners in the US, Grandel is really, really pissed. I rolled my own personal will check, and he succeeded, so, you know, out of respect for his friend and compatriot Nyla, he did not rip the thing out of the ground.
That's fantastic.
I look at, like, Grandel and Elias, who are looking at me confused, and I go, what? And then I start walking away.
Elias,
As soon as you look at him, Grandel looks away sharply.
you realise what this is. This suddenly has made you realise what this is. This is a phoenix orchid.
Okay, and what is that?
You've never heard of it. You've never heard of it.
You've never heard
seen
of
it.
this.
You know
You know
exactly
what it
what
is.
this is, but you've never heard of it.
You've never seen one. You've literally read about them. There aren't even any drawings of them in any of the books you've read. Like they are like the rarest plant on the planet, if that's even a thing. Like it is fabled. Like it's a mythical plant essentially that is essentially a phoenix. Like it's the phoenix itself is a mythical creature that does not exist within like Talanost. Like that, the phoenixes, you know, the birds that rise from the ashes, do not exist. They are completely mythical, and the myths come from this particularly crazy plant, which supposedly allows people to be reborn.
Well, shit. Okay.
So you are basically carrying around a phoenix. It's in so much like you don't know how it would work, whether you would eat it, whether it's some sort of magic you have to do on it, but you know that if the myths are to be believed from your readings, this orchid can bring you back from the dead.
Well, I will relay that information. And I
Will you?
Well,
yeah,
shit.
I will. Yeah, there's no reason why I would not tell you.
Do we have, obviously it's inside of a flask. I mean, do we have anything that we can, like, cover it with? I'm just worried that, you know, someone's going to be like, oh, what's that shiny flower? I want it. And, you know, we're going to end up in trouble that way. Something to be avoided.
I don't think so.
Probably not got anything big enough to put it in. I mean, actually, he's saying that. Pierre might have something like that in his, you know, wagon full of boxes.
Yeah, just a box. Box works.
But on your person, no.
I'll dig up some of the soil and take that with.
Cool.
I know a man who would probably be able to tell you a lot more about it than that.
I will just nod and start walking back to the road.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at Bear and see how Bear's doing.
Bear is still looking on edge. He looks a little bit more comfortable in kind of the circle of light, as it were. The effects of the phoenix flower are not the phoenix orchid aren't quite as pronounced like in the trees. It does feel lighter and like it does seem lighter, like the light is managing to get through the canopy a bit, almost like the kind of almost magic aura that surrounds this forest is kind of held at bay slightly by the flower, but it's still dark because of you're in the middle of a forest, like, but it's natural forest darkness in the middle of the day rather than unnatural, if that makes sense. And you carry on quite happily, I suppose, having found this amazing thing. Obviously, Nyla probably lost in thought, I would imagine.
Yeah, she's pretty much quiet.
And you make your way through the forest. It's, as I said, much easier going now that you've got this orchid with you. And the next day, you get much further. On day 4, you get much further than you previously have. You suddenly get very aware of the fact that you've been doing like half days. And then sleeping for 8 hours, and then doing another half day. So it was going to take you so long to get through the forest, but you're making much better headway now. Day 5, however, you come to quite a sharp turn in the path. It's such a sharp turn, in fact, that you actually can't see round kind of the corner of the path. Nyla and Grandel actually both, and Bear actually. You first notice Bear, Nyla, who his hackles go up. Like, he looks like really on edge, and yeah, he's caught he's caught the scent of something, and he is like scared, like something is freaking him out.
I'm gonna draw my bow.
And as you start to do that, you kind of hear like this really weird noise of like cracking, as if something's like cracking the trees, like like that kind of that wood splitting sound, and like a kind of low like growl type noise, and then also some kind of like more like shrieky kind of noises.
Would you describe it as a hoot?
A terrifying hoot.
Is it a bit of a hoot?
Hoorah!
But yeah, and you just kind of hear these noises coming from round the corner.
I'm gonna hold
Well,
up
I've
my
no
hand.
idea what that could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold up my hand and say, "Get ready for action." I guess.
I unsheath my greatsword.
Nyla,
Grandel jumps out of the cart and hides in the nearest bush.
you just step out of the 30-foot radius circle. Bear like gets into the wagon. He is like hiding.
I turn around and give Mad Dog the 2 thumbs up. Big smile.
He
Told ya.
he just rolls his eyes and pulls his shield off his back.
It's Gary time.
You just got garried.
So how are you approaching this?
I'm gonna get I'm gonna get to the side of the wagon so that I can dive behind it if need be. And get closer to Gary, I guess, and be like, how do we do this?
Alright, hang on. Let me just think about this. Why don't you get up a tree? Right, now hear me out. You get up a tree and you can take pot shots, right? And I look around for Elias. Not Elias, Grandel. I'm assuming Grandel's already hidden.
I am.
Well, okay. Well, obviously Grandel's one step ahead of us here. He's doing his thing.
You see his head pop out from a bush, and he just says, I mean, tree idea sounds fine, but it sounds like it's knocking down trees, so it actually might not be the best.
Well,
And then he disappears back into the bush again.
I don't know. What do you reckon, Elias?
Cast a spell.
Oh,
Yeah.
just random one. Just flicks through his book and goes, that one.
That one.
casts it.
I hold my left arm across my chest and wave my right arm in front of my forearm and summon an arcane aegis.
Nice. Do that.
It lasts for
Yeah, how many did
it lasts for
points
that do?
7 hours. It acts as a shield.
Yeah. Well, alright.
It's a 12.
Well, you just stay behind me then, Elias, I suppose.
It's a 12. So my
So
pass.
no dark and dangerous. Gosh darn.
It's up to 8.
So how are you
Ooh.
approaching this?
I guess I'll tell Pierre to get in the back of the wagon with Bear.
Pierre is already in the back of the wagon.
Okay, that's cool. Just checking. Can I?
The moment you held your hand up,
Yeah,
he got in the back of the wagon.
He's a smart, self-preservating, preserving man. Preservating, fucking hell.
Mad Dog, you're up here with me.
I think we should probably just keep moving, but be hyper aware.
Okay, I'll get up on the wagon and start moving us slightly forward, slowly.
I'll make sure I'll pull up Mad Dog up. He's riding up front with me.
In that case, Grandel sort of climbs up on top of. It's a canvas roof, right?
Yeah. Like an old west style caravan. Yeah, you can just go on one of the beams.
Okay, yeah, he's up on there with like his 2 daggers ready.
As you round this corner, you see a really particularly large specimen of an owlbear. Rubbing itself up against a tree. That's what that cracking noise was. It's kind of bellowing, having a scratch.
I don't think I've ever heard that as a verb.
I like that one. That's good.
And then, kind of opposite it is another slightly smaller one.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Who is kind of doing the same thing.
Just by the side of the road, yeah?
Yeah, basically.
I'll kind of put my hand up to stop everyone and look back and just kind of give a little hand signal as if should we go back?
I'm gonna take a torch out of my bag and light it and throw it to the feet of the owlbears.
Oh my god.
See if I can scare them off.
That's either going to work or really piss them off.
Well, they're getting pissed off anyway. They're owlbears.
There you go, Gary. Now you've seen one.
Give me a throw.
Range attack?
Yeah.
Range attack. That's a 17.
Yeah, so it lands pretty much. Are you aiming for the feet of the big one or the little one?
Probably the big one.
So yeah, this torch that I assume you said you lit it.
Yeah, listen. No,
Yeah.
threw an unlit torch to Albert. A stick.
It
threw a
picks it up and
stick.
runs over to you and is like, do it again, do it again.
No, I lit it and I threw it.
So yeah, you throw this torch at the feet of this owlbear, and it immediately pushes itself back and just downs this tree, crashes into the forest behind it, and it kind of drops down onto all fours as it backs away, and its feathers kind of come out in a really big the umbrella birds type thing, and it's just its wings on its feathers on its big front arms just spread out, and it does the kind of display.
It's making himself look big.
Yeah, which it just is, which is ridiculous. It's already huge, and all of that commotion has done a similar thing and caused a similar thing to happen to the other smaller one, and you kind of see it look up at you, and
I wave.
wow. I think it's time to roll initiative.
Oh, damn
Okay.
it. I was hoping I'd scare it away. I thought it was a good idea.
Owlbears are known for their terrible, terrible tempers.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, if I can spook it and it runs away. Yeah. I mean, don't see fire very often, do they?
Anyway, let's go.
Owlbear.
Plural.
They fly into a rage and attack you.
I forgot
Bring
what
it.
I rolled now.
Well, roll it again.
I rolled a
Okay.
nat 20.
Nice. That means you're going dead last.
Yep.
Well, I rolled a 13, which is a success. So I need
I rolled
16.
Great success.
40.
I rolled a 4, which is also a great success.
I'll go last, guys. Don't worry.
Bringing up the rear.
So, the alpha is a boss monster, so he's going to go before any successes, but after great successes. Bear is not involved in this combat. He is too scared.
Yeah, I wouldn't set him on some owlbears. I want to keep him.
Well, for obvious reasons, Nyla. And for those people who have listened to the backstory,
Yeah, it's true.
Bear's mother was murdered horribly by an owlbear.
And he was also
In fact, he has a
also
scar
attacked.
on his
Spoiler
back.
alert.
Yeah, he's
It's not particularly interesting, but that's
I'll say
actually just
spoiler alert.
exposition. Who got great success?
Myself and Grandel.
Yep.
Go, do a thing. Activate your turns. Well,
I will
although,
fire
but
an arrow.
but
Yes.
you have to pick who goes in what order, and you will see why in a moment. So you're going first, Isla. So Nina, do your attack.
I will draw my bow and fire at the big boy.
Cool.
The big boy. That's probably not going to hit. That's a 12.
That does not hit.
No, I didn't think so. And that's my
Um,
go.
Cool. It moves towards you.
Unsurprising.
Grandel, your go.
Okay.
So a feature of boss monsters sometimes is that they have a thing called off-turn attacks, which means in between each one of your goes, it gets a go.
How
Oh.
far away from it are we?
I mean, now you're only about 10 foot away from it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But you were about 50 foot away from it.
Balls. I was hoping it couldn't hit me. Okay. The first thing I'll do is throw my light axe at it.
Cool.
So that's a 3.
That doesn't hit.
Yep. So I will use my... Well, I was going to say I use my hidden blade, but I just realized that actually only affects melee attacks.
Fair enough. It's fine, as long as we know for future.
So I'm going to do my offhand light crossbow.
Cool.
So we discussed this a little while ago. Offhand is at disadvantage, yeah? Cool. Okay. And that is also shit. That is 11.
No, not quite enough.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I got a great success, so I could do that before anybody else.
Bye, Nyla.
So you said, I think you said that Nyla was on the cart, Grandel is on the roof of the cart, and did you say, Mark, that Gary and Mad Dog were kind of in the front, in front of it?
Yeah, we were, yeah.
So it's gonna, so it's now its turn, so it's gonna move up to you and attack you.
Okay.
It swipes at you first with its claws, and gets 20 to hit.
Yeah.
So that does 5 damage, and then it bites you, which is probably going to miss. So that's 9. Yeah, that's a miss.
That will miss, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So that's its attack. Its first attack. Yep, cool. Any successes?
Yep.
Oh, did you roll for Mad Dog?
No, I didn't roll for Magdal. Let me just go ahead and do that. I mean, it was a 17. I can't imagine it's that Dexy.
No. Cool. So he failed. So yep. Have your go, Gary.
Cool. We're not riding horses, are we? It's too.
No,
The
I think you
horses
said you got off of them.
stayed
Yeah.
outside the forest, I believe.
Oh no, you were riding horses through the forest,
Oh, okay.
but I think you was. Yeah. They would have been too flighty to ride around the corner towards the whale bears anyway.
No, fair enough. All right. Well, I guess I'll get right up on the big one and swing a greatsword. Oh, I'm gonna rage first. By the way,
That's sensible.
Good choice.
gonna do that. +7, 16.
That does hit.
Excellent. Excellent. 12s. There's a D12. 7 damage?
7 damage.
But I will roll Dark and Dangerous Magic. It was a nat 20.
That's only if you crit.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So wasting my nat 20.
Cool. So then it's the other owlbear's go. So she charges forward and makes the full complement of attacks like she was supposed to, like the other one was supposed to, but Jack didn't read the stat block properly. So it's actually supposed to attack twice with its claws.
Oh my god.
Who's it going for?
You.
Okay.
So you got two. Oh, actually, no. Mad Dog stood next to you, isn't he? So it probably makes more sense for it to go to it. Go for Mad Dog, because you're stood side by side. Cool. So he gets one hit with the claws, because I've got a 12 and a 19, and then a miss with the bite. So that does 4 damage.
Okay.
And now it's the fails go. The failures go.
The failures go. Go on, failures.
Go on, failures. You can do it.
You know what I mean.
Got a rig for you if you're good.
Stop it.
I can't.
Elias, would you like to have a...
I'd love to have a go. I can't find my unique feature, Jack.
You can impose disadvantage to a single target of a spell you have cast a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest. When you do this, your DDM value is increased by 1 before you make the check for that spell. Furthermore, if the DDM is triggered by this spell, you roll on the Psychic Surge table as well.
Yeah, that was it. Okay. I do all of those things.
Yeah. Excellent. So your DDM goes up by 1.
So
it's now on 9.
I feel incredibly defended by my arcane shield, which is going to save me from death and destruction. I'm going to jump off the car, and I'm going to stand to the side of the owlbears, because I'm assuming I can hit both of them if I've got something that does a cone.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep, I am jumping down, and I'm going to cast Thunderous Invocation. It's a 30-foot cone, basically, that will do 2d8 damage.
And what's the save?
It's con.
Luck con.
Luck con. Yeah. There's a disadvantage.
Cool. So the alpha fails hard, and the mate also fails.
Okay, so they take 11 ouchie damage. And they are thrown nice. They are they are thrown 30 foot.
Jesus. Yeah, they are. That's a long way. They smash into the trees on the other side of the pathway.
Oh, I rolled a 9. Well, shit.
So, roll me your Dark and Dangerous Magic, and then I'm going to look up the table for the Psychic Surges as well.
Fuck. Okay, alright. Well, we knew it was going to happen eventually.
That's exciting.
So, Dark and Dangerous first.
Yep.
That is a 72.
Oh no.
Oh, don't be like that. I'm not looking it up.
72. An enraged, random, aberrant terror, demon, or undead monster controlled by the GM appears within close range. 1d4 times 5 foot.
That's not good.
So,
Yeah,
it appears...
that's why I said, oh no.
It appears 1 foot away from you. No, sorry, 5 foot away from you. I can't do
Oh,
that.
okay.
Because 1 times 5 is 5. And it will vanish after 2 minutes. Let me have a look. Random 1.
But what you don't know, plot twist, it's a friendly demon. It's like, hey guys, I'm a big fan.
Can you roll
and
me
it
a
fights with
d12,
us.
please, John?
3.
Hey guys.
It's a lemur.
Mm-hmm. Sure
What's
is.
that?
Lemurs are vaguely humanoid, but their flesh is clay-like, shifting and malleable upon their grotesque bodies. They are lower forms of demons and feed on lost souls. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then some more stuff that I'm not going to tell you because it does terrible, terrible stuff.
Oh,
And you can find
great.
that out if and when it happens. Ah. And then, John, roll me another one.
Worth it.
That is a 41.
Cool, so see what happens. This, I mean, in theory, this could potentially, depending on what you get,
Oh,
deal with that demon. But Anna, no, it's not a dark and dangerous magic.
Oh, okay, thank God.
This is a psychic surge, which is, in some cases, much, much worse. Well, just as an example, one of them is you are destroyed from space and time, and everybody within 20-foot radius also has a chance of winking out of existence forever.
Okay.
Why do you do magic?
Did you get 40?
41.
40. That's hilarious.
What is
It
it?
wasn't 40. 40 would have been a force field around you for like minutes that you can't break. But 41, you manifest a random power or spell-like effect. There's a 50% chance that the power targets you or is centered on you. If the power affects you, it lasts a minimum of 1 minute. So, do me a percentile. Over 50, it will target you.
96.
Okay.
It targets you, and then roll me a
Okay.
d6.
Make it a good spell. Good spell. Good spell.
4.
You lose the ability to see, hear, or speak.
Nice. Okay.
Uh-huh.
At least you can still smell.
Oh no, sorry, see, hear, smell, or speak.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's better.
Oh wait, it's only one of the 4, so roll me a d4.
Please be smell.
2.
You can't hear anything.
Okay.
And that lasts for a minimum of a minute.
Good spell though, John.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, great spell.
Totally worth it.
So much happened.
Cool. That was interesting. And now it is time for initial. Oh no, it's not. It's Mad Dog's go. Oh no, it's not. It's the Alpha Owlbear gets its off-turn attack. It gets up and runs towards you. It has a 40-foot movement, so
But you can't hear it.
it gets to the closer person. So I'm imagining Mad Dog is closer, so he's going to go for Mad Dog. He won't get to attack it, but
I'd still like to say
yeah,
that
it gets
was
up
worth
to
it.
Mad Dog, but doesn't. Oh yeah, absolutely. He gets up to Mad Dog, but doesn't actually get to attack it. And now it's Mad Dog's go.
Okay.
So he
Do I
has
control
a
my dog or you do? You
no,
control
no, you do. So he has a long sword. So and we decided his strength was like average
20.
strength score. So let's say 16, so +2.
Okay. Sweet. That's an 18 plus 2.
That'll do it.
That will do it. Okay. What's that? 1d8, I believe, for a longsword.
I think it is, yeah.
5 plus 2, 7.
Cool.
And he
Yep.
is going to. No, he's fine. Go
The owlbear is mechanically stunned, staggered, whatever it's called. I forget.
Okay.
Bloodied, you know.
Under half health.
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Staggered.
It's staggered, isn't it? Yeah, I thought
It
it
is
was.
staggered.
but- Cool. And roll initiative.
Let's do this. Standard success.
2 successes. Me and Mad Dog.
I got a great success.
Ooh.
It's a fail.
So, Elias, it's your first.
Great. Can I still cast spells if I'm deaf?
Yes.
Good. Who's next to me? Is it Gary that's...
Yeah. So in a line, it's you, Gary, Mad Dog. Owlbear 1, Owlbear 2 further away.
Do you know what? No, I got a big clay beastie on me, haven't I?
You too.
Yes, I'm going to cast this.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast this on myself. I'm going to cast a second level spell.
Ooh, I don't know what that means.
I cast Witchblade on my spear. Nice. My strength increases by 4.
Nice.
Is that useful?
It is
So
if
it means he's better at hitting things.
I've only got a finite amount of spell slots, so yes, that is useful.
And all magic keys, all melee keys off strength, so it actually makes him hit much harder.
More likely to hit and more damage.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Cool. And
It's now
that is my go.
the large owlbear's go. He attacks Mad Dog twice.
Poor Mad Dog.
Oh, poor Mad Dog.
Mad Dog, no.
He hits him both times. This does 13 damage.
Oh shit!
Well, hot damn.
Is he down?
Yeah, he's down.
He is also pulled into a crushing hug
Oh no!
and has to roll on the injuries and setbacks table.
Ah,
You were a great companion,
He
Bad
lasted all
Dog.
of 2 episodes. Well
he
done.
missed his wife. You set that up.
You did. You gave him a backstory, Jack. How fucking could you?
You might as well have said he was 2 days from retirement.
I was trying to like get him into the storyline, get him involved. And then...
I was all up for that, man. You didn't look after him.
What do you mean I didn't look after him?
You ran 2 owlbears at him.
You could have done.
What he's saying, Mark, is that it's entirely your fault.
You killed fan favourite Mad Dog.
Oh my god, is he going to be the fucking Barry Blue Jeans of this program?
Oh god, yeah.
God, I
you have
hope
to bring
so.
him back.
We can only hope we get that amount of love for him. He rolled a 10, which is damaged armor. Armor you are wearing is damaged. Until
Orcs.
repaired, your armor provides only half the normal AC bonus. Round down. Magic items have a 50% chance to negate this effect. Does he have magic armor?
No, he does not.
Just checking.
He just has the armor that his
So that will
father
give him
forged
plus-
for him in the.
Sure that you were going to say that his wife made for
I
it.
almost did. Well, that was ridiculous. Like it's a family heirloom. Obviously, that's way better.
So for those keeping score at home, he has now an armor class of 13 rather than 16.
And how many hit points does he have?
0.
As soon as he goes limp, the owlbear just drops him.
That's sportsmanship.
Gary,
and,
go limp!
and looks like he's about to go for you, Gary. Successes. You may now have your turn, or the first success may now have its turn.
Fuck.
Shall I go?
I need to remember I can do a thing. Can you remind me, John?
Would you
Yeah,
like
I'll
to do
remind
that
you,
thing?
Mark. I'll remind you.
Well, in fiction, it's already happened, so don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. I will draw. I'll knock another arrow, and I will fire at Big Owlbear. Big Owlboy. That's a 15 plus 4. That's 19 to hit.
That does hit.
I will also use my sharpshooter. So I'm gonna make a perception check. If I pass, I do pass. It's a 10. So now I get to do max damage. So D8 plus 2, so 10.
Plus your level.
No, wait, no, it's not. I've forgotten how crit works.
It's a crit. It's max damage plus your level.
Oh, okay. So 13.
13. Yeah.
Nice.
It looks angry.
Uh,
Is that your go?
That's my go. Yeah.
It attacks Mark. It attacks Gary.
It's so angry it attacks Gary.
Gary, 2 claws. One is miss, one is a hit. The claw does 8 damage.
4 damage.
Then it bites you.
Bring
It
it.
gets a nat 20.
Oh, take that.
And it says here, if you will allow me to read this, owlbears are foul-tempered and explode into extreme rage. They cause 20 hit points of damage on critical hits.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Good thing I'm raging.
It is. Because you heard 10, right?
Me?
Yeah, Mark had 10.
that's-
Yeah.
you-
No,
you
I had
heard 10.
29 left.
No, heard 10.
Oh, I did hit 10. I did hit 10.
And
In
now
that
it's
case-
the other successes go.
Can I just point out that a crit is half your level rounded up?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
Max
so
max
take-
damage plus
take-
half your level rounded up.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
so it
Take
should have
1
been
point
2,
off.
so that's fine.
Cool. I am gonna attempt to rip its beak off.
Oh, wow. That's,
What do I need
that's
to
a
do?
pretty major exploit, I think. You need to remind me of the rules of major exploits,
Let's have a little read of this here book.
because I do forget.
I think it needs to be at least staggered.
I mean,
It
it
is.
is staggered.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's...
Currently staggered. Martial exploits 73. Let's have a look at page 73, guys.
Major exploits. All adventurers may attempt a major exploit, impressive feats of power and skill that inspire allies and turn the tide of battle. Player exploits major exploits are exclusive to all to PCs. An adventurer might shatter a foe's weapon, impale a wolf on a fence spike, grab an enemy in each hand and crack their skulls together, decapitate an ogre, or cut off a wyvern's wing.
Or rip the beak off an
For a
owlbear.
major exploit to occur, the adventurer needs to first hit and cause damage as normal.
Alright, well, let me do that real quick. That's 18. 11 plus 7.
The adventurer needs to make a luck check modified at the GM's discretion.
So that does hit. What does the damage? What damage does it do?
It's D12. Hang on, sorry, guys. This one. Ooh. 16. 11
Wow.
plus 5.
Cool. Then make a luck dex check.
Strength, probably.
Strength. I said dex. I mean automatically. I meant strength.
I know what you meant.
Roll 19, which ain't going to do it, and a roll
Reroll.
5, which is going to do it.
He gets advantage anyway
Alright.
because it's scorn. Yeah.
Rip its stupid beak off.
You do. Paint me a word picture.
It's like inside the beak, one hand on the top half, one hand on the bottom, and I literally just pull it up and down, if that makes any
Just
sense.
rip it open like a melon.
In a vertical manner. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And just
Yep.
rip it right off its
Yep.
stupid
You
face.
absolutely do. It is horribly, horribly murdered.
Excellent.
Its mate literally screams like the most terrifying thing. Like for everybody else, not so much you, Gary, because you're raging, but everyone else is like, well, shit. And it will just, you can see it's like coming for you.
Barbara.
You can fucking bring it.
And that's your go, Mark. Gary, who's else? Anybody else left with a success?
That's a reduction of your luck as well, Mark.
Yeah, I have done that already.
Was there any other successes?
No, I did mine.
Cool. In that case, the owlbear mate is going to charge forth and do an attack. So she attacks you twice with claws.
You fucking bring it.
That's an 18 and a 13 on the dice.
18 will...
So,
Oh, actually, 13 will be it too.
so 21 and 16.
Yeah.
So she attacks you both. She hits you both times with the claws, which does 15 damage. And she pulls you into a bear hug.
You can try.
Well, she does. That happens automatically. You may make a luck con save to resist having to roll on the injuries and setbacks table.
Your luck's running out.
That is 5, which will do it.
Can't imagine you've
Yes,
got a
it
lot of
is.
hit points left.
I've got 12 left.
It's more than I thought.
And
So
then she's going to bite you.
Oh god.
Okay.
And that is 21 to hit.
Yeah.
And that does 4 damage.
Okay. I'm still up.
And then it's not her go anymore.
So and then she
It is
action
now-
surges.
The lemurs go, and it is going to attack you. Unsurprisingly, Elias.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Does this look like
Um,
it's going to hurt?
potentially. So it attacks only once. That is, I shit you not, a natural 19. The demon imparts dark sorcery. The target rolls on the dark and dangerous magic table.
Oh, for fuck's sake, don't summon anymore.
Can you imagine if you did another one?
Well, 'cause the
And
other-
that just caused
When-
an
Since you already failed one, that's moved it back to 1, right?
Yeah.
No.
Mine
no,
is,
no,
yeah.
no.
Oh, you mean you roll on the
No,
table? Oh,
You roll
no.
on the table, not you roll
Yeah.
a dark and dangerous magic check. You're rolling on the table. Yeah.
It's an 89.
Oh,
89.
I've lost the page. 1 second.
I lost the page. Must be fine then.
Oh.
That's just swamps.
That's not the worst, but it's not
It's
great
not
for you.
great. 24 hours targets making luck saves against my spells roll with advantage.
No, that's
It's
annoying.
called weird fading.
Oh, there you go.
That weird with a Y.
Yeah.
Nice.
WYRD. Word.
So
It
it
took
does.
me a second to know how to
It
say
also
it.
does damage to you.
I
which
am going to
is,
thrust my shield up into the attack to negate the damage at which it's going to impart on me.
Does it also negate the other?
Well, it just says.
effects?
Well, it doesn't state. It just kind of says it. I can use it to negate the damage. Where is it? Shields. In addition to providing +1, shield may use to negate a single directional attack. Actually, it can be
Cool.
a.
Well, it is a claw attack, so yeah, so that's fine. So basically, and actually thinking about it, this thing says the touch of a lemure does something. So actually, if you're using it to negate the attack, then it's not going to touch you. So yeah, that's fine.
Sweet.
So actually, that dark and dramatic thing doesn't happen either because it's the touch that causes that to trigger as well. It's all part of the attack. So
Cool.
that dark.
Oh, just from memory,
never
I thought it
happened.
was talking about negating the damage, but it says
That's fine.
the
That's all
attack.
good.
It's
cool. Yeah. Now it's your go, Grandel.
Right. So I'll need a DM's ruling on whether what I'm about to do is. I think it's going to be a minor exploit, but to start off with, I would like to use my dose ability to coat one of my daggers with some of that spider venom, and then I would like to leap dramatically from the roof of the cart onto the owlbear and stab it.
You can absolutely do that. I will say that's probably. You're not trying to kill it. So major exploits generally are to try and like.
Incapacitate it or something.
Yeah. It's more like kill it in a single blow or prevent it like lower. Like if you were trying to aim for its eye, so it had like a less chance to hit, then it would be a major one. But as you're just trying to do something cool to get to the damage, then yeah, I'd say just with a minor one. So just roll to hit as usual, and do a dex check. I think for that one.
Okay. So I roll to hit first, yeah?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so rolling to hit first. That is a 19.
Yep, that'll hit.
And dex check. That is a 4, which is a great success.
Nice. So yeah, you managed to do that. You kind of land on its back and just like jam the knife in.
Okay, so roll for damage. That's 5 damage, plus whatever the spider venom does.
I will tell you. Do you remember what kind of spider it was? Just a giant spider, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a normal one because John kept the venom from the weird teleporty one.
Sorry, I'm just looking for whether it was spider, giant, or giant, spider. Spider, giant. Yeah, it does. Poison.
You went going a bit Shatner there. It was a giant spider.
It causes 1d6 damage and 1 dex loss with a luck con save. So it passes its con save. But it does an extra 1d6 damage.
Okay, that's an extra 4.
Nice. It is staggered. And everyone on initiative.
Sorry, Jay. I just
Oh,
want to say, so having jumped off the car, I am now sort of stood on its back.
On its back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. While it's holding Gary.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, everyone give me initiative. We'll see if you can get that. It'd be good if you got a great success. That'd be cool, because then you could just kind of, and then immediately carry on.
I rolled it too. I did.
Amazing.
I failed. I got a 19.
Oh, no.
I rolled a 1 and got a great success.
I got a
Nice.
great success with an 8. Just.
Nice.
Slow girl Nyla.
Cool. So yeah, give me them great successes. You can do it in whatever order. It was only the alpha that had the off-turn attacks, so just kind of do your goes.
Would you like to go first, Mark?
No, you crack on, man.
Okay, well, I'm just going to stay where I am, perched on its back, and stab it again with a dagger. That's very cool. That is a 19 to hit. I'm just going to make the offhand attack, and then I'll work out damage after.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm rolling with disadvantage. That one is... that one's a 14. Not sure if that one's going to be a hit. Jack?
14 does also hit you as well. Sorry, I was on the wrong page.
Okay. Do you add your modifier on the offhand attack as well?
You do. Yeah, it's just disadvantage.
Yeah, it's the same as an attack. It's disadvantage.
Okay, well, that's 8 damage altogether, which for a couple of daggers is not too shabby.
It's not at all.
Yeah,
who
the
wants to go next?
I'll go next. I mean, I'm bear hugged.
So that is. Oh no, you resisted it. You're not hugged. If you resisted it, you're not. So the Oh no, that was to stop it from being injuries and setbacks. Yeah. There's no grapple rule, so it doesn't actually have you still. It just kind of hugged you and tried to crush you a bit, so you're still able to attack and stuff.
Well, I'm going to do that. 17 plus 7, 24.
Yep, that will hit.
And that's just 3 plus 5's 8 damaged.
It dies.
Excellent. Not a moment
So
too soon.
I like the idea of as Grandel stabs his daggers in between it, either side of its neck. You're using a sword.
Yeah.
You bring the sword up and slice up its belly, so it's got its head throws back as it kind of screams as it dies, and it collapses forward as you jump back, and Grandel just steps off of its back.
Nice.
So as it slumps forward, Grendel does... I mean, it would be a flip, but because dwarves are so short, it's more of a forward roll.
Yeah, almost like a parkour thing.
Camo roll.
And I turn round to the demon that's just appeared.
So the demon is... Yeah, actually, it's within 5 foot of Elias, so that'll be within 5 foot of you as well. Yeah, so you're good. You can attack it with your second attack, because you can't have it You can't move, can you? But you can do both attacks to different people.
I can't do a second attack. I was only able to do second attacks because I was using 2 battle
Oh,
axes.
of course you were. Yeah.
I'll get a second attack at 5th level.
Oh. Cool. In that case, it's your go, Elias.
What I would like to attempt to do with my newfound strength and magical weapon is, I think, what might be a minor exploit.
Okay.
My spear has a reach of 10 foot, so what I want to do is try and...
I was about to say exploit me.
What I want to try and do is actually kind of spear this thing and actually keep it at reach for the round.
So you kind of want to move it away from you,
And kind of...
as like you kind of push forward with your spear and step back so it can't attack you.
Basically.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I'm going to
You
try
almost want to pin it almost, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably a. Let me have a look.
Well, I can trip, push, disarm, or grapple as a minor exploit. I must hit and cause damage, and it lasts for 1 round. So a opposed strength check to knock an opponent off his feet, grab him, sort of, as an example.
Yeah. I think it's the kind of keeping him at bay for the round feels more like you're trying to cause it. So, like, the example for one of the major exploits is spearing someone in the eye so that it causes perception penalties and causes a 33% miss chance. So I feel like that's more that level
Okay.
of like trying to prevent them from doing something. So I'd say it's you're trying to give it like almost, I don't know, because I think stopping it from being able to attack you but pushing it out of reach. Actually, what is its reach? I wonder if it's got reach.
Well, I've got reach to 10 foot, so I kind of hoped it didn't have reach. Because obviously, if it does,
I
then
don't
it's
think
a moot point entirely.
It doesn't. So yeah, I think that you can definitely try that. Give me to do the attack first. See if you hit it.
It is a 18 plus 4.
That does hit.
Yes.
Wow, you were lucky that this only spawns one of these things because they're supposed to spawn 4d10.
Yeah, very lucky.
It does 8 damage. Magical damage.
Cool. And now do me a strength check. Strength or luck strength.
Luck
check.
strength. Okay. So that's exactly what I needed. I got an 11, which was what I needed.
Ooh. So yeah, you can kind of hold this thing at spear's length, and kind of brace yourself against it, and it's going to be out of your reach. You're going to be out of its reach for the next round.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. So is that all the successes?
That's all the great successes.
Yeah.
Cool. Were there any successes?
No.
No, I don't think so. So it's now
I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
the Lemurs.
I wasn't trying to be a pedant that time. It just
It
happened.
just happened by accident.
You just naturally are.
Accidental pedant.
Sounds like it should be a song. Accidental pedant.
So this thing isn't particularly intelligent, so it's just going to try and attack you, John, and fail miserably. So it's Nyla's go.
I'm gonna jump down from the wagon and stand 10 feet away from it and draw my whip because I haven't used it. And I feel like firing a bow, like an arrow at this guy, probably just gonna fly straight through him. Mentally, this is how Nyla feels.
She's been scarred by those skeletons.
She has, yeah. She knows now. Sometimes an arrow isn't what you need. That is an unnatural 20, so 16 plus.
A dirty 20.
A dirty
That will-
20.
that
Dirty
will
20
hit.
if you will.
Dirty 20, yeah, sorry. Forgot about that. I hate that saying so much. That is 6 damage.
You whip it to death.
Yay! Do I whip it real good?
You do.
Yeah.
You've killed these things. Congratulations.
Yay!
Just off. This is an interesting thing for you, just because I want to tell you this because it's great. If it touched you, it drains 1 charisma,
Oh.
Nice.
We're
If you
not the
get to
most
zero,
charismatic.
if you get to 0 charisma, you die and become one.
Oh, that's fucking cool, though. I don't want to be one, but it sounds good.
But the fact that they arrive in packs of at
So
least
many.
10, it's just depressing. Like it's just these things have literally sucked the charisma out of somebody and then transformed them into them. It's just
May
kind
I-
of like it's a bit dark, isn't it?
May I request that Elias saves Mad Dog so he
Yeah,
can get
no,
home
I'm
to
gonna
his
flip.
wife?
I'm gonna flip over Mag Dog.
Oh, do a mostly dead or mostly dead check. Yeah,
It's con, isn't it?
I can't remember.
Yes.
Are we doing just 50-50?
Let me look it up. Now it does say when a PC is reduced to 0 hit points, but I will allow it.
We have to save him. He's too important to us.
He is. I've only just realised what I had.
I do know
Yeah,
where you
you've
got the
given him a
finances
fake
gone.
wife, Jack. Now you're gonna kill him? How dare you? Right. Assign a con for.
89.
So what did I say? I said his.
Actually, you said 6.
Said he had. I had said he had 16 strength because that made logical sense for a fighter. Let's say he's got 14 con.
All right.
That's fair.
You can use rerolls. How much do you
It's
love
gonna
him?
send your rerolls to save and
How
make
many
you save.
rerolls does he have?
No, non-player characters don't have
So it'd be
rerolls.
yours, Mark.
Is he dead?
Can I use one of mine?
If you would like to, you can use one of yours.
He was super dead. So let's try that again. I rolled 18 again.
Oh, is he dead? Oh,
He
no,
was, to be
Mad
fair,
Dog.
mauled and then crushed by an owlbear.
Mad Dog.
As it is referred to specifically in the LFG manual, he is all dead.
He is completely dead.
Not just mostly dead, he's all dead.
Yikes.
Well,
Wow. On a
holy
failure,
shit.
or if the body cannot be recovered, an adventurer is really dead and gone. Shed a tear, frown as your allies loot the still warm corpse, then join the GM on the other side of the screen.
So your backup's gone.
that was my backup.
That was your
my-
backup.
That was my extra life.
Well, you've used your extra life just before your real life.
I mean, if he hadn't have been here, that might have been you. So,
That is absolutely true.
Oh, poor Mad
in
Dog.
some
he had a
way,
wife.
he did what he said he would do.
I
He
will.
died for you.
Yeah, that's life debt paid.
Definitely.
In
I
full.
will.
In full.
I will run up and grab Elias. Elias, help him.
Oh.
I'll go and help him.
Do it. Save him, Elias.
Unfortunately, Gary, he's dead.
Oh. Does that mean I owe him a life?
Well,
How does
no,
it
because
work,
you didn't
Elias?
save his life. So
Well, Jesus, I didn't really. That just it sounded fun. I don't know. I feel awful now.
well, it's a good job he didn't have a child that we know of.
I don't know what to say. I just feel awful now. Well,
Do you know what his wife was called?
no. I don't actually like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
We
we'll
could-
send a letter.
Yeah, we could write to Malachi. He
Yeah.
could pass along the news.
I have to
thought
get
it's
someone
cool.
else to write a letter.
It's King Crayon.
It's just a sad face with a tear rolling down the cheek.
It's a face with like 2 X's for eyes.
Yeah.
My sad face. Elias,
Yes, Gary.
can you wear full plate armor?
He's gotten over it quite quickly, I think.
Oh god, I'm sorry. I was not expecting that so soon. Elias, can you write a nice letter? Elias, should we bury him? Elias, can you wear plate armor? Oh God, Mark, you broke me.
Oh, mad dog. You were a mad dog. I've got this cool beak though. So,
Yeah, you need to put it on like a piece of string around your neck or something.
well, let's
The
not
beak
leave.
is so big you could actually make like a shoulder thing out of it.
Could
Pauldron.
I make Clake?
Yeah. So I thought that's what it was called, but I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong.
It's alright. Johnny would have corrected you, Jack. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
either way.
Exactly. I would rather him just say it than me be corrected by him, to be honest.
All right, okay. This is what I want to do. I want a wilderness law to skin the head
Yep.
of the owlbear because I want to make a helmet with me looking out of the beak.
You can absolutely do that. Give me wilderness law.
I'm gonna.
I say you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely
Try.
salvage salvage the head so that someone else can make you a helmet.
Yes.
But yeah.
Does Scone not have horns or something?
No,
That's a natural one.
they have tusks.
Nice.
That's
Yeah, so you get this
intelligence-based.
like it is clean. Like it's literally so clean. Very
Excellent.
beautifully done.
See, what I thought you were going to do was like take both beaks from the owlbears and make them like shoulder pauldrons, one slightly smaller. Would look pretty badass.
Nah.
He made up his mind.
Owlbear helmet.
I really wish I was playing the kind of character who would wear armor fashioned from an owlbear.
You can.
I could. I'm not gonna.
You can make that character decision for yourself.
I'm gonna.
I just did.
I'm gonna.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
Character decision is he wouldn't.
I'm gonna lift Mad
Fair.
Dog up onto the wagon. Wrap him in a blanket. I don't really want him. Just his character. I don't really want him to leave him. Well, yeah, I don't really want to leave him here.
I'll put my hand on Gary's shoulder and
Grandel rests his
You got-
hand on Gary's thigh.
Jack,
Oh,
It's as high as I can reach. It's the only reason.
Elias.
is owlbear good eating?
It's
the
not bad eating.
carnivore.
You eat well tonight.
I'm gonna take some feathers, put in my bag.
Did you say it's a carnivore?
let's just take the whole carcass.
Yeah, it's a carnivore, isn't it? An owlbear?
Yeah, no. I wondered
yeah.
I didn't know why you'd said it just randomly.
Because generally carnivores aren't good eating.
Oh, I see. I wondered whether it was related to that. I wasn't sure.
Sorry, I half formed a thought and then didn't follow through with it. I'll help Gary wrap up Mad Dog's body and leave Bear to guard it.
Take some owlbear haunches, and I think we should get out of there.
I mean, Bear's
And I was-
literally already eating it.
We'll give him his own piece to eat.
We can have
Yeah,
a little
I
one.
pat him on the head. Good Bear.
Elias, is there any I don't know, medicine or anything useful we can take from the corpse of that fleshy clay demon thing?
Maybe.
Can I?
It does only last 2 minutes. I don't want to be the rules guy.
That is true.
It just goes back to where it came from, I would imagine.
Well, I think that if it was alive, it would go back to where it came from. Let me just double check the rule.
Yeah, I think that might end up being a GM decision. That one.
Yeah.
I've written a sad note in my notes.
Yeah, it just
Mad
it
Dog is
vanishes.
dead.
No, yeah, it probably vanishes. I think that's probably right. It just is sucked back to its own plane of existence.